Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto recreated the Uzumaki clan and becomes the Lost Maelstrom? Part 1. Huge shout out to no longer active as of 2019 for this story. If you want more awesome fan fiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. Well, the sharp question came from a woman sitting behind a desk. This woman had long red hair that flowed past her elbows. She was wearing a light blue cloak that had the kanji of first at the back. Her face was currently hidden by the hat she was wearing, as her head was bowed. There was a man standing beside her, his features currently hidden by the shadow cast by the banner above him. The banner was red and had a circle in the middle. In the circle was a swirl. The person she was addressing wore the standard Anbu attire, except that his was pure black. He was in a kneeling position as he phased through the floor, appearing before the woman. Upon hearing the question, he stiffened, feeling nervous. The woman took notice of this and knew she would not like what she will be hearing next. "We found him, Uzukage-sama. He looks exactly like you described and was indeed in Konoha. From what we have observed, he was not being treated well. We noticed how the villagers glared and cast contemptuous looks at him." The operative paused before continuing. "The first time we found him, he was being surrounded and beaten by a group of drunks. While there were many witnesses, nobody was helping him. My team had to pose as Konoha police to stop them and disperse the crowd. We managed to rescue him from several mob attacks afterwards, without the knowledge of the ninja present in the area. The boy is in a terrible state. He is thin and malnourished, hence why he also looked smaller than his age. He does not have a permanent place and sleeps in the darker corner of the streets and alleys in order to hide himself from the villagers. Your children have stayed behind to fulfill their part of the mission, while I came back here to give you the intel you requested." The woman waved a hand, acknowledging the report. The operative rose and took off his headgear, revealing a face with a dark blue eye, the other covered by his red hair. This man was known as Kid Uzumaki. He was the head of Storm, an elite organization that only answered to the Uzukage. The woman sighed as she put down her hat, finally revealing a face similar looking to the operative in front of her. She was none other than Kushina Namikaze ni Uzumaki. First Uzukage of the rebuilt Uzushio. "You did well. I will send a team back with you to fetch him. Right now, I want you to instruct all Anbu, Jounin and Chunin to meet me at the village's main stronghold at sundown. I want all members of Storm present as well." "Hi. Uzukage-sama." The Storm captain bowed and put back his headgear on before disappearing. The person standing beside her bent down and captured the Uzukage in an embrace, finally revealing his notable features, crystal blue eyes and messy blonde hair that reached his neck. He was Minato Namikaze, Yondaime Kage of Konoha. Like the village hidden by whirling tides and its inhabitants, he was believed by the world dead. Scene change a few nights ago. A young boy who looked no older than 4 was running for his life. His most notable features were his blue eyes, blonde hair, and 3 whisker marks on each cheek. He looked wild and starving. His hair was messed up, his clothes ragged and has blood stains on it. He was being chased by a huge mob he fled from after receiving a few hits. The boy suddenly screamed and fell as a kunai hit his leg. This gave the mob the opportunity to finally catch and corner the boy. They started to beat him, avoided hitting his head to keep him conscious, allowing them to torment the child even more. The boy was screaming in agony. The boy looked straight at a vacant spot opposite him. He looked straight into what seemed the eyes of the watcher and begged to be saved. He screamed while crying, "Mother. Father. Somebody. Please save me." As the mob continued to pummel him. "No. Please, stop." Kushina woke up screaming. She checked the time and found it was past midnight. "Kushina." The man sleeping beside her also awoke that very same moment. "What is it?" "Minato. They're going to murder him. They're torturing him. Oh Kami-sama, we need to save him." "Kushina, please calm down. Tell me what happened." After a few minutes of crying, the distressed Reed finally calmed down and told her husband about the dream she just had. She told him about the boy. She told him about the villagers. She then realized the boy looked somehow familiar. This isn't just an ordinary dream. This is probably some kind of warning or some kind of vision. It's probably happening at the moment or has happened already. Minato absently patted down his hair, deep in thought. "Minato?" inquired the woman, feeling nervous. "Kushina, this may sound odd, but I had the same dream. Just exactly the same as what you have told me." They were silent for a few seconds until Kushina's eyes widened and she screamed, "Naruto. My baby boy's alive. And he is in danger. We must find him. Let me go." She roared as she frantically tried to escape from her husband's strong arms as he tried to placate her. "Kushina, please calm down. I know what you are feeling right now. I am also his parent. I promise you we will do everything to rescue our son wherever he is. But if we're going to find our son we need a clear head in order to plan properly. I'm with you, okay? We'll find our Naruto. It took a while before the distressed mother regained her composure. Kushina, I'm going to check on the children. I believe I felt their chakra spike up. Something's going on. Alright. I'll meet you at my office. I'll go find Kid. 30 minutes later. Izukage's office. Mother. What happened? You've been crying. A younger version of Kushina inquired. Her name was Narumi Namikaze. She was the first child and eldest daughter of Minato and Kushina. She was 18 years old and a jounin. I'm fine now, Narumi. I had a bad dream. Narumi stared at her siblings with a questioning look. What kind of dream? What did you dream about? This time a younger male version of Kushina inquired. He was Minako Namikaze. Second child and eldest son. He was 2 years younger than Narumi and also a jounin captain of 3 chunin. Your father and I had a dream about a boy being beaten by a mob. We strongly believe it was Naruto. Another boy and a girl finished. These two were twins. They got their facial features from Minato. Although unlike her twin brother, Miho got her mother's red hair, while Mio had orange hair. The twins were both chunin. They were 6 years younger than their elder sister. We also had the same dream. All 4 of us. Mio and I were awoken when Narumi and Miho woke up screaming. We were discussing about it before father called us. Flashback 4 years ago. Uncount location. The Iwa, Kiri, and Kumo allied forces will attack Uzushio in 3 days. I want you to blend in with them. Your task is to kidnap Kushina Namikaze's newborn son. She's due to give birth 2 days before the allied forces' scheduled attack. Take the infant during the commotion and bring it back here. Do whatever means you must. Failure is not an option. Understood. Uzushio 3 days later. Uzushio headquarters. Izukage-sama. All enemies are within the trap's range. It's time for our counterattack. Very well. Begin. Hi. Father. Let me help. No Kushina. You just gave birth. You still need rest. And you should be beside Naruto. Your son needs you. You'll be fine. He's with Miho and Mio. Rin's also with the kids. She's a strong Kunoichi. I know. But still, your children need you, especially Naruto. Kushina, go to the shelter with your children. But. Oh. Worry not, victory will be ours. Izukage Estate. Rin-sensei. The twins shouted with concern. She's dead. And you brats are next. Maybe I should start with the youngest. A masked man entered the estate and started killing the household including the twin sensei, Rin. No. We won't let you harm our baby brother. The twins moved in front of Naruto's crib to protect him from the masked assailant, but the intruder vanished and reappeared behind them and sent them crashing on the wall. Say goodbye to your brother. Forbidden art. Dancing black flames. The masked man shouted as he tossed the infant into the air before incinerating it along with the crib. Ooh. The twins watched in horror as their infant sibling became nothing but ashes. The masked man then turned his attention to kill the remaining witnesses while they were frozen in shock and despair. As he neared the two, he felt a huge chakra signature coming and immediately fled the house. 10 seconds later Kushina burst into the estate and found the dead bodies of her household. She felt a heavy sensation in her stomach as she rushed upstairs to where Naruto's room was. What she saw made her dizzy. Rin was lying on the floor. Dead. Tears ran down the eyes of her twins who kneeled on the corner, paralyzed with fear and despair. At the end of the room, the crib, where her youngest child slept peacefully only a night ago, was now a pile of ash. Naruto. Miho. Mio. Mother. Naruto gone, incinerated, Miho said between choked sobs. Rin-sensei dead, masked man, he killed our baby brother, Mio whispered weakly as tears came down streaming his face. Kushina fell to her knees as she stared at the pile of ash. Tears began to flow as her body shook, racked by sobs. No, please, Kami, no. My little Naru-chan, no. Naruto. Uzushio 3 days later. Dead bodies can be seen everywhere along with debris from fallen buildings. The once strong and standing village were now in ruins. Small fires can still be seen around. The place stank of dead flesh and burnt wood. A small party of Konoha shinobi were inspecting the area, checking for survivors. Hiashi. Do you see anything? A man with long, spiky white hair asked. Nothing, Jiraiya-sama. They're all dead. I can't see a chakra signature. The only ones alive in this area are us. Replied a man who had wide eyes with bulging veins around them as he inspected the now ruined village. What a waste. They were our allies. Sarutobi. I told you they needed our help. If you ordered us to assist then there might be survivors. A pale man with long raven hair shouted. His words prolonging into hisses as his anger rose. Shut up, team. If you wanted to help then you should have gone without us. Yes, I really should have. But Sarutobi stopped me from going. I was restrained. And you wouldn't even care because you were too busy peeping on women. I would have chosen being branded as someone who disobeys orders rather than someone who abandons their comrades. I thought the Uzumaki clan were strong. But look at them all, dead. The weaklings do not deserve saving. Scoffed a man with long black hair and red eyes. You fucking Uchihas think you're mighty and high. Admit it, Fugaku, you Uchihas are afraid of the Uzumaki clan. They are far stronger than yours. You fuckers hate them because you can't copy their jutsus with your fucking eyes. That's enough, Orochimaru. Everyone. We're going back to Konoha. An old man with a pipe said. Yes. I've had enough, Sensei. Orochimaru spat the word with venom. I'm no longer affiliated with Konoha. I'm cutting my ties to it from now on. I'm ashamed of a village who abandons their allies. Orochimaru proclaimed as he untied his hit-8 and tried to shove it onto his sensei's hands, who would not accept. I won't allow you to leave, Orochimaru. You are a great asset to Konoha. If you do leave, I will mark you as a missing nin. Sarutobi threatened as he refused to take his apprentice's hit-8. Fine then. Orochimaru replied as he took out a kunai and made a long gash on his forehead protector, signifying his disowning of his now former village. Orochimaru, you can't do this. Fugaku exclaimed. Oh. But I already did. Goodbye, you traitors. Orochimaru said as he morphed into a small white snake and went underground. He's gone. I can't see his chakra signature. Hiashi said. Sarutobi sighed. We should hurry back to the village. We have to inform the council of Orochimaru's defection. Jiraiya refused to leave and waited for his teammate to return, but after a few minutes he too just sighed and nodded to his sensei. And with that, the 4 remaining Konoha nin left. Uncount to the Konoha nin, they were being watched. The clan they believed to be extinct were simply hiding underground, protected by strong seals that blocked all senses coming from the outside. The dead bodies that littered the village were in fact the corpses of the Kiri, Kumo, and Iwa shinobi. All dressed up with Uzushio hit-8s, clothing, armor, and weapons. Their hairs were dyed red to make them look like the fallen Uzumaki. The ruined city was only an illusion. Only a few buildings were actually destroyed. There were less than 15 casualties, and those were the Uzumaki main branch household. The Uzumaki clan remained and still stood strong. A week before the assault on their village, they were tipped off by someone unknown. They were informed that a combined force of Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri were going to try and assault their village. Driven by fear and envy, they formed an alliance and shared one common goal. That goal was to stop Uzushio from growing stronger and becoming one of the 5 great nations. Thanks to the warning, they were able to prepare to defend the city and evacuate all villagers to the underground shelters. Despite their victory, the whole clan were mourned for the fallen. Especially the Uzukage's youngest grandchild, Naruto, believed incinerated by a masked assailant. The Uzukage's daughter, Kushina, was still distraught in mourning, but deep inside, she believed that her son was alive. She simply did not have any leads or clues on where to find her little Naruto. And due to the orders of the Uzukage, they were to remain hidden and to wait patiently. There will be a time for them to strike back and unleash their vengeance to those who were responsible of their village's supposed destruction and Naruto's death. For now, they were to make the world believe that the Uzumaki clan no longer existed and Uzushio were now in ruins. Flashback end. The family were silent for a few minutes until Keith spoke. Alright. Sister, could you tell me about the dream? How did my nephew look like? What of his attackers? Seeing his wife about to cry again, Minato decided to fill in his brother-in-law about the dream. I think the place looked familiar. What do you think, Minato? Kushina asked. I believe the place was near Konoha's outer skirts. How he got there, I do not know, said Minato. Kushina was silent for some time, her head bowed. When she finally spoke, her demeanor changed. Her voice now carried power. Alright everyone, listen up. I'm giving you a mission. Kid, Narumi, Minako, Maiho, and Mio. You are going to Konohagakure no Sado. Kid, I want you to gather information about my youngest son. Find out why they have him. Find out why he was being mistreated. Find out why nobody looks out for him. Everything related about him, I want complete details. Narumi, Minako, Maiho, Mio. Find your little brother. Keep him safe. Earn his trust. Tell him he's going to be alright. Tell him that we will rescue him from that stinking place. Do what you must. Once you find him, stay inside the Namikaze estate. Nobody will know you are there. The house is protected by seals and will only respond to those with Uzumaki and Namikaze blood. Kid, I would also like you to find Nono Uzumaki. I believe she goes by the name Nono Yakushi. She also has a son named Kabuto. Get in contact with them. She doesn't know Uzushio still exists. Here are their pictures. When you return, we will discuss about what to do next. Present time. Konohagakure. The boy from the dream was running for his life again. This was a daily routine for him. He will wake up early to scavenge for food while staying outside. During the afternoon, he would be found and a manhunt would commence. The villagers seemed to have some kind of tracking device on him. Every night he will be taken to the hospital to get his injuries treated only for him to get hurt again the next day. Morning was the only safe time for him since the villagers were busy with their work while some were still asleep. He didn't know eyes always followed him. Eyes from the shadows. Anbu, the black operatives of the village, the ones who tip off the villagers of his location. Unknown to all, 4 outsiders were watching the whole scene. As the boy turned into a corner, the outsiders sprang into action and snatched him away. The hidden seal activated and a clone of the boy appeared. The watching Anbu failed to notice this as the exchange happened at a blind spot. The mob were none the wiser and proceeded to pummel the clone. Namikaze estate. Phew. That was close. Hey kid, are you alright? Asked the leader of the 4. Yes. Whispered the scared and baffled boy. What happened? We were there and now we're here. We saved you. We used Jutsu that activated once we got you out of there. The seal produced a clone of you. We added a gain jutsu to make the transition perfect. It's the clone who'll they think they'll be beating. Replied one of the 4. Who are you? Why did you save me? Did you really save me? Or are you 4 going to beat me just for yourselves? Asked the boy, fear once again gripping his heart. He yelped as he felt arms wrapped around him and started to cry. Please. I haven't done anything wrong. Why can't you see that? I'm not a monster. I'm just a human like you. The eldest of the 4 engulfed the boy into a hug as he started crying. Calm down. We're not going to hurt you. You're safe with us. Really? Asked the boy between sobs. Yeah. My name's Narumi. The boy nodded and instantly became cheerful. My name's Naruto. Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. And I'm going to be one of the greatest ninja ever lived. Believe it. His rescuers smiled at him. Glad that he was still cheerful despite what happened to him earlier and the days before he was rescued by them. Say, Naruto, why don't we go to the kitchen and we'll get you something to eat, I'm sure you're hungry. Asked Narumi while the boy nodded. His stomach growled when he heard the girl mention food. She then motioned the other 3 to prepare something to eat. Where are we by the way? Curiosity once again filled Naruto. We're here inside the Yondaime's home. Our father's home. This home is protected with seals. Nobody except us 5 know we are here inside. I'm the eldest. Minako, he's 2 years younger than me. Mio and Maiho are twins. They're 4 years younger than Minako. Oh. Said Naruto, feeling jealous and sad. As he didn't have anyone to call family. I wish I had a family too. I wonder if they're still alive. My Ka-san and my Tu-san. I wonder if I have siblings too. His 4 rescuers just stared at him with sad eyes. Say, Naruto. While you're eating. Would you mind telling us your story? Asked Minako. Well, as you have seen, the villagers here hate me. Every day I have to run for my life to not get beaten, but they still catch me. I have no permanent place to stay at so I hide in the village's darkest streets. When I was 3 I was kicked out of the orphanage. I never understood why. They called me a monster. An abomination. And I don't even know what that meant. They blamed me for killing a lot of people. They blamed me for killing the Yondaime and his wife. But how can I do those horrible things? That's just stupid. I think they're just giving themselves a reason to beat me and hate me. Besides, I don't even know what a Yondaime is. But you know, I heal fast. Maybe that's why they call me monster and love to beat me. Narumi nodded, urging him to continue. She understood about the fast healing since it's one of the abilities of the Uzumaki clan's Kekkei Genkai. Ever since I've been kicked out from the orphanage, I've been wandering the streets. I slept at random places in the village where it was dark so I can hide from the villagers. I got my food from dogs and in some occasions, from foxes. They were the only creatures that were friendly to me. I do not know why. But they nicked food for me so I could eat. There were also some snakes. At first I was afraid of them. But I started to like them when they saved me from a mob. The stray dogs, snakes and foxes are my only family. Naruto. Do you have any clues who your parents are? Asked Narumi. Naruto shook his head. My nurse told me my parents were dead. She figured that I was brought here from Uzushio. She told me that the place I came from was destroyed. She also came from there when she was younger before she had her son. Nono-chan and Kabuto-nai were the only humans who had been good to me. They tried to adopt me, but the villagers found out and asked for help from the bad clan heads. After that I never saw Nono-chan and Kabuto-nai again. Although I did believe the snakes were from them. Anyway, I can remember how my parents looked like although the memories when I was still a baby. Don't ask me how I remember it, I just do. My mom was beautiful. She had long red hair. My dad had yellow hair and his eyes were crystal blue just like mine. The four stared at him feeling excited. He just described how their parents looked like. You know, I dreamed of them a few nights ago. I was getting beaten by a mob. And then I saw them. I knew they were my parents. I just knew it. So I tried calling to them. When I did, I woke up from my sleep. It was some kind of a beautiful nightmare since I was getting beaten by a mob even in my dream, but at least I got to see my parents. Naruto cheered at the last part. The siblings couldn't help but smile at Naruto's cheerfulness. They've also heard enough. The dream wasn't just a dream. It was a link for them to find each other. They've decided to tell them who Naruto really was and who they really were. Naruto. Narumi interrupted. We haven't properly introduced ourselves yet. We had to confirm your identity first. But now we're sure. And the dream you mentioned was more than enough evidence. Huh? What do you mean? Asked a confused Naruto. Naruto, your parents are alive. You have a family. You have siblings. There are more than one person who loves you, Narumi said in a whisper. We thought you have been killed when Uzushio was attacked by Iwa, Kiri, and Kumo. The whole clan was so devastated upon finding out. We still had hopes you were alive. We just didn't know where to look at. Since we also had to lay low after the attack and made the whole world think Uzushio no longer existed along with the Uzumaki clan. But a few nights ago, we four and our parents had the same dream just like what you told us. You were calling to them. They told us about it and recognized this place, so we're sent out to look for you. Naruto was silent. So Narumi continued, and so we came here and found you. Naruto, our parents are also your parents. We are your siblings. Silence filled the room after the revelation. Naruto was thinking hard. After all these years, he thought he had no one. He thought his family was dead. The dream he had was linked to his parents. That gave him hope. Now, his siblings have found him when his parents asked them to look for him. He has a family. A living family. Naruto slowly rose from his seat and then rushed to his siblings. Tackling them into a hug. He was crying from both joy and sorrow. Oni-chan. Ani-san. The four went to embrace their little brother. They were finally united. They stayed embracing for about 5 minutes. Naruto was in Kasumi's arms as he cried himself to sleep. The news for him were too overwhelming. For the first time, he slept in peace, knowing he had someone who'll look out for him. When he wakes up, he won't have to worry about the mob trying to kill him, for he had a family who'll protect him. Narumi carried Naruto to the bedroom and stayed with him while he slept. His head on her lap while she caressed him. Sleep well, Ataudo. Uncle Keed will be back soon. We're going home and our family will be whole again. Whispered Miho as she kissed Naruto on the forehead. Back in Uzushio. Backstabbing traitors. Cried Kushina as she read the files Keed gave her. She found out that it was the Sandaime Hokage who gave the orders not to help Uzushio during the day of the attack. It was the Sandaime who made the proposal with Iwa, Kiri, and Kumo to destroy Uzushio, giving them information on how to get inside the village. She also found out that the same man was the mastermind behind Naruto's kidnapping. The Namikaze family were made to believe that Naruto had been killed when the allied shinobi forces attacked their homeland. It was part of the plan to kidnap Naruto and destroy Uzushio. The report stated that it was Fugaku Uchiha who broke inside the Uzukage's house, killed the household including the Uzukage's daughter's apprentice, Rin Uzumaki, and cast a strong gain jutsu to make the twins see their little brother incinerated in front of them, putting the twins into a trauma that haunted them for a year. Naruto was brought back to Konoha and was used to become the nine-tailed demon fox's jailer. The Yondaime was oblivious to the fact that it was his son he was condemning to a harsh life. The use of the Shiki Fujian cost him his life. The Yondaime's last wish was for the child was to be seen as a hero by the villagers and not a demon. The Sandaime of course bat on his last wish. He was one of those responsible for the whole village's hate on the boy. It was him who spread the false rumor that it was the boy who killed the Yondaime and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki. Konoha intended for him to become a Jinchuriki, a weapon of the village. The worst part was, Naruto would be a mindless drone. Having no free thoughts and only answered to the Hokage. The main conspirators along with the Sandaime Hokage were the village elders Danzo Shimura, Kahara Udatane, and Homura Midokado. They were the ones who kindled the fire that was already with the villagers when the QB attacked and killed their families. That made the whole village hate the boy and gave him a harsh life. It was the council's objective to have the boy beaten and tortured every day so that when the boy reaches the age of 5, they will pretend to be good on the boy to gain his trust and unknowingly play by their hands, following their orders and becoming loyal to the village. Thus making him Konoha's ultimate weapon. A tool who was afraid of getting beaten so he follows his superior's orders. Along with the files were Naruto's medical history. They found out that Naruto had been hurt every day since he got kicked out from the orphanage at the age of 3. They would rough him up and then he'll be healed in the hospital, only to get mauled again the following day. It was stated in the files that the Konoha interrogation division would try to erase Naruto's memories every time he was beaten. They didn't know that one of the nurses really cared for Naruto, and she found out that Naruto remembered everything that was done to him. The boy had a total of about 600 medical records. One of the files was about him getting thrown outside the window of a high-story building when he was 1 year old. Another one was him getting him stabbed and electrocuted multiple times, burning his insides. That was when he was 2 years old. Another incident happened during the Fox Festival, October 10, Naruto's 3rd birthday. He was raped by a gang of drunk villagers. The boy had been tortured and beaten physically and mentally by the villagers countless of times. Some of the incidents were not listed with Naruto's medical record. Kushina broke down crying as she read the files. She couldn't believe that Konoha did those horrible things to his baby boy. They did to a 4-year-old. An innocent child. Those monsters. Minato was shaking with rage as he too read the folder's contents. The village he once served betrayed him. The worst part was they defiled his youngest son. They treated him like a monster. They starved him, they tortured him, and they beat him every day. They were molding him to become the village's weapon. Minato hugged his crying wife. They had to be strong for their son. After all, they found him now. They were doing everything they can to rescue him and bring him back to where he actually belonged. To his homeland, Uzushio. To where his true family lived. 3 hours later. Inside the Uzukage's conference room. The whole council was silent when Kushina finished telling them about the dream about her son, about the files they recovered, about what Konoha did to their son, and lastly, about Konoha's betrayal to Uzushio. Along the council with them were all Chunin in ranking and up. Most of the council members shook in rage as they listened to their village leader's tale and saw the documents. They finally knew who the mastermind behind Uzushio's supposed-to-be downfall was. They also knew now about what happened to the Uzukage's youngest child. Needless to say, they were disgusted with Konoha. Most of the women in the council were crying as they read the report. Minutes of silence finally broke when someone whispered but loud enough for all of them to hear, "Konoha will pay for their crimes." There was a low murmuring among the council, all of them agreeing. Konoha has stood for so long with their wrongdoings unpunished. When this news goes out, it will spread like wildfire. Soon, all of Uzushio will demand blood. One of the village representatives said. Agreed. But we cannot go to war yet. We must plan this thoroughly. Uzukage-sama's children are still in Konoha. We must decide first about who we are sending with Kid back and assist the rescue team that was sent. Said by one of the clan heads. I second the opinion. Said by another one. But who are we sending to retrieve them? Asked by one of the Jonins. I'm going. Minato said. All eyes were on him now. I'm going inside the estate via Haration and then I'll bring the children back here. We can decide about Konoha's fate later once the children are safely returned here. But I'll be needing 5 squads with me. We're conducting a little raid. Minato coldly said the last part. All shinobi present at the meeting wanted to volunteer for the said task. They wished to bring honor to their homeland by avenging it and the Uzukage's youngest son. It took about 15 minutes for the council to make their decision and members for the 5 teams were picked. First squad will go to the Namikaze estate and take all of its belongings. Same goes with the second group going inside the Uzumaki estate. As soon as teams 1 and 2 arrive at their destination, they are to begin immediately sealing everything. The third squad will go to the Hokage tower and take all Namikaze and Uzumaki clans jutsus, and that's ranging from D to Forbidden. The fourth group will provide the first wave of chaos, while teams 1 to 3 do their work. The fourth squad will blow up the Hokage mountain. More specifically, my face. They think of me as their hero, yet they treat my son like some kind of monster. Those fucking hypocrites. Fourth squad will also destroy as many buildings near the Hokage mountain. Fifth squad will be coming opposite the direction of the mountain, also destroying as many buildings as possible. While we're there, make sure you're all covered up. We're not to use any Suiton jutsus to not blow our cover. We won't be wearing Uzushio headbands. Once the first and second squads are done sealing everything, they are to blow up and destroy both Namikaze and Uzumaki estates. Once done, they are to head out to trash the eastern and western part of the village respectively. Kid and I will blow up the market district and 8 other teams via Haration. Once the third group are finished taking the jutsus, they are to blow up the Hokage tower. That signals the end of the raid. Well then, are all instructions clear? Asked Kushina. Hi. Uzukage-sama. While we're going to raid Konoha for a bit, we'll bid more time and hasten strengthening our forces. We will gather some allies as well before we truly destroy Konoha. And if I remember correctly, Orochimaru is and still remains a friend of the Uzumaki. We also need to get in touch with him. That is all for today. The council look forward to Naruto-sama's retrieval. Very well. We will meet again once my baby's back in my arms. This meeting is adjourned. 2 days have passed since Naruto was found and rescued from his attackers. He had a great time spending with his siblings. He'd been told not to go outside for his own safety. His siblings transformed into normal civilians to buy him food and some clothing. During those 2 days, the Namikaze siblings shared each other's stories. Naruto was told about his homeland. He was also given information about his heritage. Thirsty for more knowledge, he asked about their parents and their connection to Konoha. With proper care and rest, Naruto's wounds healed properly. His malnutrition was being treated now that he had access to vitamins and medicine. He had 3 full meals and was allowed to have snacks whenever he wanted to. Of course, being the children of Kushina and Minato, Naruto was introduced to what the family considered food of the gods. Ramen. At the moment he had instant ramen, well promised to be treated to the real deal. Ramen by the Ichirikas. He learned that the Ichirikas were originally from Konoha as well. Line. It was 3 in the morning. The Namikaze siblings were all packed and were waiting for their uncle's return. There was a flash of yellow, and soon Naruto found himself staring at a man who looked exactly like him, except that he was older and his hair was longer. With him was a man with red hair who looked like Narumi. Accompanying them were 4 more people wearing long coats with hoods. They were also wearing masks with nothing but a blank design on it. All of them were dressed in black from head to toe. The blonde man nodded to the 4 masked men and ordered them to move. The 4 scattered around the house and began sealing everything in it. "Dusan?" the young blonde asked, still gaping at the man. The man looked at the source of the voice. He found his youngest son staring at him, teary-eyed. The boy asked again, "Are you really my father?" The man smiled at the boy warmly. Soon he found himself kneeling as the boy tackled him and started to cry. "My son?" he murmured, tears running from his yes. Their father and son moment were interrupted when buzzing noises were heard. 3rd squad in position. Waiting for orders. 4th squad ready to blow things up, awaiting orders. 5th squad ready for extra diversion, awaiting orders. "Naruto, we will unite again later, okay? I'm bringing you to your mother." Minato didn't receive a response and realized the boy had fallen asleep on his arms. He stood up gently and asked Kid for Naruto's backpack. "Alright everyone. Hold hands. I'm flashing us back to Uzushio." In a flash, Narumi, Minako, Mio, Miho and Naruto along with Minato were gone back to their home. A few moments later and there was again a flash. This time Minato was accompanied by a Kushina clone. He turned the radio on his cloak and ordered, "Let the fun begin." Minato, Kid and the clone then proceeded to their target location. Outside the Namikaze estate Konoha. The people of the village hidden in the leaves were enjoying their peaceful sleep. Not knowing of the events that will happen in the next moments. Not knowing of their so-called peace being disrupted. Soon they were awoken by sounds of shrapnel and broken glass. The night skyline looked like burning daylight as buildings caught fire. The earth shook as the Indami Hokage's face sculpture blew up, crushing nearby buildings in the process. In the opposite direction of the Hokage mountain, explosions were also everywhere. Structures collapsed, burned, and blew apart as they were hit by earth, fire, and destructive lightning jutsu. There was widespread chaos and panic. The citizens of Konoha were not expecting an attack during their time of peace. The strength of their village got over their heads, and the people believed no one would dare oppose them. The village's security became lax. And now they were paying for it. The Konoha shinobi tried to calm the villagers as they escorted them to the village's safe bunkers. That took them almost a third of an hour. As soon as the villagers were safe and as the Konoha shinobi began preparations to fully retaliate, new explosions were heard on the village's eastern and western areas. The Konoha shinobi were losing their cool, clearly not expecting an attack from all sides of the village. It made them think a huge number of enemy shinobi were behind it. Hiruzen Sarutobi was busy reading an orange book. He was giggling like a little girl as he indulged himself to the story. His private time was interrupted when the ground shuddered and explosions awoke the whole village. He scrambled to hide his orange book under a floorboard that was under his bed and changed into his green battle armor. Summoning. Monkey King, a monkey also wearing an armor, appeared out of smoke. "Enma, I am in need of your assistance." "Of course. Let's go." "Everyone, calm down. I am with you." The Hokage shouted as he tried to rally the Konoha shinobi. "Form into squads. Medic, tend to the wounded. All Jounin and Anbu captains head to the areas under attack with your squads. Chuninans, you're to put out the fires." While his orders cut off as a great explosion caught everyone's attention. "Hokage-sama. The market district is on fire." A panicking Chunin ran to him. "Then put the fire out. Save the supplies." The Hokage was about to charge into one of the areas that was being attacked when he heard another great explosion. "Hokage-sama. The Hokage mansion has been blown up." An Anbu reported as he appeared beside his leader. The rest of you, follow me. The now angry Hokage roared. They stopped in their tracks when they heard magnified voices cover the whole village. Earth release. Great tremor. The whole village shook as a great tremor destroyed many more buildings. The earthquake lasted for a good 3 minutes. When it was over, they heard the voices screaming another technique. Lightning release. Thunder gods flash. From the 4 sides of the village, 4 thunder lines appeared and connected to the center. A small orb of light formed and grew steady until it was 24 diameters big. The orb exploded and left everyone in the village a great ringing in the ears. A white flash was also produced, inducing temporary blindness. The effect would last for an estimated 5 minutes. The Inuzukas were affected the most due to their enhanced senses. The Hyugas on the other hand fell to the ground holding their heads, while some convulsed in pain. Most of those who had their Byakugan activated felt the brunt of it. Meanwhile, most members of a certain clan were furious. Not because of the fact that they were under attack, it was the fact that the jutsu their unknown attackers used were widespread and powerful. With no vision of their enemy, there were no hands to look at. Without hands to look at, there were no jutsu to copy. It was a great loss for them. 4 more Anbu appeared coming from different directions and knelt to their leader, bearing the same report. "Sir. The enemies just disappeared, sir. We couldn't find a trace of them. They seemed to have pulled out after the last explosion." The Sandaime Hokage just sighed but was still angry. "Scatter. Put out the fires. But be on your guard. They might come back and try to take us again by surprise. I'm placing the village on a lockdown. No one's coming in or out the village. Anyone doing so will be treated as an enemy and will face heavy consequences." "Hi," replied all of the shinobi around. "I want a detailed report once this fuss is all over and dealt with." And with that, everyone went to their assignments. "Tsurutobi, I'm going back. Summon me again should the mysterious attackers return," Enma said as he ported back to his home. "Uzushio before the raid. Bring our baby back," whispered Kushina as she kissed her husband. "I'll be back in a flash," replied Minato. Kushina and the others smirked at the man's joke. Minato was gone in a flash. He returned about 2 minutes later with Naruto asleep in his arms. "My baby," exclaimed Kushina. "What happened to him?" "Relax, Mom. He's just sleeping. That's what also happened when we revealed to him that we were his siblings. He cried himself to sleep." Narumi smiled, looking at her little brother. "I'll take him. I'll bring him to his room," Kushina said as she took Naruto from Minato. "I'm going back to Konoha now. I still have to thank them for their kindness to Naruto." "Wait. I'm sending a clone with you. I can't let you have all the fun now, can I?" Kushina said as she made a clone. "I'll see you in half an hour." Minato kissed her wife and his son. "I'll be with you later, Naruto." And with that, Minato disappeared again in a flash. "Well done, you 4. Kushina said as she turned to her children. "And thank you for bringing Naruto back to us. You may rest now. We have a big day ahead." Kushina went to her son's new bedroom with Naruto still asleep in her arms. She gently put him down and kissed his forehead. "Welcome home, Naruto. Starting from now no harm will come to you. Kasen's here to protect you. I won't let Konoha or anyone take you away from me ever again," she whispered as she sat beside him, watching over him. Naruto stirred from his sleep and opened his eyes. He saw a beautiful woman with red hair smiling gently at him. He murmured "Kachan" and sighed contentedly and went back to sleep. Uzushio storms Pav. The first and second squads immediately started sealing off everything inside the estates, while the third went to the Hokage tower and waited. As soon as they heard an explosion, they wasted no time breaking inside the vaults, taking every scroll written by the Yondaime and the Uzumaki clan. The fourth squad quickly went to work and rigged the Yondaime Hokage's face with explosives. When they were done, they made a distance before blowing it up. Detonate. The whole village shook as the mountain exploded and damaged nearby buildings. The fourth squad went to work and demolished the buildings near their area. Using a combination of Kaiten, Reiten, and Doten jutsus, the buildings turned into rubble. Empowered by their clan's Kekkei Genkai, normal jutsus were several times stronger and easier to cast. The fifth group followed suit, equipping the gates and walls with explosives before making a great distance while they waited for the signal. Once the mountain exploded, they also created a distance and detonated the gates. After that they immediately set to demolishing the other buildings. After taking the Yondaime and Uzumaki clan scrolls, the third squad raided the shops, taking everything and setting the now empty shops on fire. After making sure the fire was spreading, they took off to a different section of the village to cause more havoc. The raiders encountered only small resistance and were able to dispatch the Konoha shinobi easily as they were all caught off guard. Minato's Pav. "I'll do my stuff. Do not wait for me. I'll just dispel myself when I'm done," the Kushina clone told her husband. Minato along with Keed went to the market district and sealed off all the valuable and usable items in there before setting the place on fire. The merchants who woke up early to prepare open their shops were knocked out, stripped off their expensive clothes, and were left only wearing their undergarments. "We're done here," Minato remarked. "I just remembered about the Uzumaki temple. We should raid it and recover the masks. They have the same properties like the ones from Uzushio. There are 21 masks that can only be worn by those from the Uzumaki clan, since using it required a lot of chakra. The masks have a connection to the Shinigami, and when worn, it summons the entity who in turn grants the user to bring back a person to life. It can only be done once every 5 years. They are the same masks we used to resurrect you. Thankfully Konoha doesn't know what the masks do," Keed said. "Ah, so if there are 2 sets, we could resurrect 2 people every 5 years?" asked Minato. "No." Keed shook his head. "If one of the 2 sets are used, the other also goes into cooldown." "I see. Let us go retrieve them then." Kushina's pav. With the chaos going on, the clone was able to slip inside the hospital easily and found the person she was looking for. No worked at the hospital as a healer and had her own team. When the higher-ups learned of her intention of adopting Naruto, they got her son, Obito. They held him hostage and threatened to kill him should she adopt the Jinchuriki. She was then forced to work at the hospital on a night shift when not on missions as an Anbu. Her shift was almost finished when the attack happened. Her instincts told her to wait inside as someone will come for her. Soon, a red-haired woman came in bursting the nurse's room. She was shocked to see her cousin Kushina alive but remembered her conversation with Keed a few days ago. She got over her shock and allowed herself to get dragged outside the hospital. "Where's your son? We need to get to Kabuto," Kushina asked as they got past the hospital's gates. "Hopefully he's inside our house. We're currently staying near the walls," replied Nono, now taking lead. Kushina cursed. "Let's hope your house still stands. Let us hurry." Jumping from roof to roof, they arrived at their destination without hindrances. "Hasan. Thank Kami you're alive," a boy with round glasses exclaimed, seeing his mother enter their home. She was followed by a red-haired woman. "I am fine, son. Kabuto, meet your aunt, Kushina Namikaze." "Hello Kabuto," nodded Kushina. No, I thank you both for helping my son, despite Konoha's efforts to keep you away. We're family. We're supposed to help each other. I must say, I didn't know he was your son. Although I knew he was also in Uzumaki. Still, thank you. Now, I'm sure my brother has told you about Uzushio." "Yes. I was very happy when I found out. Even for a second, I didn't doubt Keed. How is my sister doing?" "Nami is doing fine. She's running a bookstore back home." "That's great. I wish I can see her again soon." "You will, cousin. But not yet. There's something I wish for you two to do." Nono tried not to frown, realizing that her cousin was addressing them as the Hokage. "What is it?" "Uzushio needs you two to spy for us. Can you do that?" "Of course. You can count on us." "Thank you. I shall take my leave. I still got to pay the council elders a visit," Kushina said as she got up. As she opened the door, she remembered something. "Oh. And Nono." "Yes. Seal up water that should last for, say, 3 months. In 30 minutes, clean water will not be available for the village. I apologize in advance for the inconvenience it will cause you." Line. During the confusion, Kushina was able to slip inside the homes of Danzo, Kaharu, and Homura. With the chaos going on, the houses were empty. Danzo was no doubt underground barking orders to his private army, while the other two were hiding at the village bunkers. Kushina went undisturbed as she drugged every single stock of food and drink in the 3 houses. The poison would put them into a coma for 5 years. Upon waking up they will later learn that no matter what they do, they won't be able to fall asleep anymore. Should they take 4 sleeping jutsus or sleeping pills, they will only get a major headache. Only a certain Sannin could heal them and remove the poison's effects. It was unfortunate that that person was far away from Konoha. Kushina then went to the Hokage's house and raided his bedroom. She found nothing of importance but saw a pile of orange books and set them on fire. Finally, Kushina headed to the village's water supply station and took out some special scrolls. She threw one inside each tank and from it, several gallons of purgatives came out. The special scrolls would eventually vanish after a few hours. Some would think it was a stupid childish prank, but it was a serious act of sabotage. Her job done, she dispelled herself. The real Kushina was humming to her youngest when she received the clone's memories. She could not help but laugh maniacally. Thankfully, Naruto remained asleep. Her 4 older children who were still awake heard her mad cackling, getting chills down their spine. Somehow, they knew that Konoha was not just raided. Minato, Keed, and Storm's Pav. "Sir. The Hokage mansion will explode in about 2 minutes," one of the teams reported. Minato nodded. Squads 1 to 4, move to your positions. Hi. Sir, we are in position. Good. Minato looked at the building he once considered his house when he was still a leader of the village he was now raiding. Wait for the explosion now. Earth release. Great tremor. 3 minutes later, they called another jutsu. Lightning release. Thunder gods flash. While the Leaf Shinobi suffered from the temporary blindness, the Uzunin rushed to their rendezvous point somewhere in the forest. Ordering everyone to link arms, Minato flashed them back to Whirlpool. Uzushio. The shinobi forces of Uzushio awaited the return of the raiders. When they saw yellow flash, all of them cheered and congratulated everyone for the successful operation. The teams then went to deposit everything they looted. The weapons and armors were brought to the research facilities to be melted and used later. The other various items were also brought to their centers. Only the clothing remained to be donated to the hospitals and the orphanage. Later that morning, Naruto woke up feeling like Christmas arrived early. He remembered seeing his parents the night before. Good morning, Naruto. Naruto was alerted to such a melodious voice. He rose into a sitting position and focused on the beautiful red-haired woman smiling warmly at him. His heart beating fast, Naruto asked tentatively. Ka-san. The woman nodded, her smile widening. The boy jumped up and tackled her into a hug, all the while screaming, "Mother." Mother and son hugged each other contentedly for several minutes before their moment was interrupted. Kushina giggled upon hearing her child's grouchy stomach. Come now, Naruto-kun, let's get you breakfast. Good morning, Naruto, how was your sleep? A voice asked. Naruto looked up and squealed seeing it was his father, Tusan. It was great. It's the best I've ever had, Dadabeo. Minato was a bit horrified while Kushina smirked. He really was their son. He's so cute saying that. Although I hope he grows out of it. Kushina thought. Ka-san. Did you hear that? A new voice asked between sniggers. I heard it, Dadabane. Replied the woman, eliciting more laughter. Who knew Naruto would inherit it from you? Asked Narumi as she appeared by the doorway. Her question was answered by Naruto's growling stomach. The whole family gathered at the table and began to eat. During the meal they of course conversed. Now, Naruto, what would you like to do? Where would you like to go? Kushina asked her son after eating. I really don't know where to. I just want to spend more time with you all. Naruto smiled. Back at Konoha. Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed as he looked over the village. His ever-present pipe in his mouth, puffing smoke. He remained facing the glass window when he heard the arrival of an Anbu. He set up temporary office at the unused Senju mansion. Anbu captain from Alpha Squad reporting in. As of this moment, the damaged infrastructures are the Yondaime Hokage's face sculpture, the main gates, the whole market district, Namikaze and Uzumaki estates, the Hokage tower, and several hundred homes, with numbers still rising. As for the items, we lost everything from the shops. Upon investigation, we also found the Namikaze and Uzumaki estates empty before they were blown up. At the Hokage tower, we found the vaults unharmed save two. The vaults owned by the Namikaze and the Uzumaki were found open and empty. Upon further inspection, we found remains of explosive tags that blew the whole tower. Sir. The Hokage sensed the arrival of another Anbu and beckoned him to speak. Anbu captain from Gamma Squad reporting in. The determined time when the raid started is 5 minutes past 3 o'clock in the morning. The attackers are yet to be known, as their clothing had nothing to indicate which village they were from. All wore plain black shinobi clothing from head to toe. Their numbers are estimated to have been at 300. The raid lasted for 25 minutes, concluding at 3:30 o'clock. Sir. The third Anbu appeared, also bearing news. Anbu captain from Beta Squad reporting in. We now have the fires under control. Including the Namikaze estate, Uzumaki estate, and the Hokage Toe, we have 309 buildings in ruin. The number of injured personnel and villagers combined reached 1,000 less 22. There were no confirmed injured or fatalities on the enemy side. Surprisingly but thankfully, we also have 0 casualties. The enemy focused on destroying buildings and mainly on that. Our forces didn't have the chance to battle them and figure their battle strengths and capabilities. The ones who tried have been found knocked out. It was surprising they weren't killed. Sir. The Anbu captain finished. The old leader closed his eyes and sighed. Very well. Dismissed. Hiruzen prepared himself as he exited his temporary office to face his old teammates, the clan heads, and the civilian council. There really wasn't a civilian council per se, and they obviously had no power over him. They were consisted of the wealthiest merchants and landlords who brought huge income to the village. The Hokage simply did not bother to correct their assumptions and allowed them to some meetings that were not important, which were few. All they did was complain and request for favors. After repeating what the Anbu told him, the Hokage waited in resignation as he watched their faces. No doubt, they were going to explode as soon as his words sunk in. He really hated their whining, especially the Uchiha, the Hokage, and the civilians. "It is very clear," began Danzo Shimura, "that Wagakure is behind this. They hate the Yondaime for what he did. It would seem that they were still hell-bent on avenging the army Minato destroyed using his Hiraishin. With him dead, they figured it was time for them to strike back and restore their strong image. But we will not let them go unpunished. We must go to war." His statement caused a few murmurs of agreement. Now, we must not rush into conclusions. Hiruzen immediately responded before more of them could voice their agreement. It could be Kumo," suggested Hiashi Hyuga. "You know them. They wanted our bloodline. They must be exacting their vengeance on us. Just because they tried to kidnap your daughter before that doesn't mean they were the ones responsible for this. Iwa is responsible," countered Danzo. "I agree with Danzo. But not with the Iwa being responsible part," Sarutobi stated. "The Yondaime Hokage holds a strong and high amount of respect to our Yondaime. I strongly doubt he would stoop so low just to destroy his monument and rob his prize jutsus. But what about that last technique they did? The Thunder God's Flash. Don't forget the Earth technique that lasted 3 minutes. They must be skilled in Earth style to do that. Iwa is also a suspect. It could have been both Iwa and Kumo," Inoichi Yamanaka proposed. There was another murmur of agreement. "This could be the work of a smaller village. Why, you ask? They want the world to recognize them by attacking us, one of the great nations. And by taking some of our scrolls, they will add it to their own arsenal to use it against us." Shibi Aburami added his input. "What a drag," thought Shikaku Nara as he looked at everyone. Only Choza Akimichi seemed uncaring as he munched on his barbecue. Yugaku could only huff in annoyance. It was his clan's duty to guard the village. The Uchiha clan, after all, was the police force of Konoha. His clan's pride took a great wound for having been successfully caught off guard. The village was attacked right under his nose. It happened to be his shift that night. "Any more ideas?" the Sandaime inquired. "The enemy did a great job, if I may say. They were able to mask their appearances well. Even our Byakugan cannot see through them." Hiashi paused before adding, "No doubt by some kind of seal." "I agree." Tsume nodded. "Even our noses with the help of our partners cannot find the trail of their scent. They just vanished. We were able to track them to the forests outside the village, but their trail simply vanished." The frustration was clear in her voice. "We must figure this out soon. If they were able to do us this great damage in 25 minutes, imagine if they launched a full-scale attack." Choza finally spoke, having finished his snack. "We still have no idea if this was the work of a big village. It could have been an upstart group forming into a small village. It could be possible that this was a full-scale attack." "No," countered Shikaku. "There were no casualties. This was only a raid. And this worries me. Great village or not, these unknown enemies are fully capable. In half an hour they were able to demolish several hundred buildings and take a lot of valuable items, including some treasures from the Hokage office. Once they were done, they were able to leave without any kind of traces." Everyone went silent, nodding to his words. The Nara continued, "I've come to the conclusion that the raid's purpose was to send a message. But what is that message, exactly?" he asked rhetorically. "It is obviously related to the Yondaime. What annoys me is that I cannot figure it out. We could also consider Kumo and Iwa as suspects. But we cannot be sure. They could be rogue shinobi. Based on their last 2 attacks, only those who have natural affinities on earth and lightning could have done that. We will consider that. Thank you, Shikaku. We will also try to decipher this message." The Hokage nodded as he prepared to stand up. "Hokage-sama. What about our destroyed and looted shops? We will need help for recovery." One member of the self-appointed civilian council butted, much to the annoyance of the shinobi present. "Indeed. In my case I only had one shop and that was my only means of earning money," said another. He was nearly into tears. "Several of my apartments were destroyed. I will be needing help as well," another one said. "Worry not about your businesses. We will provide assistance for repairs and lost valuables," placated the Hokage. "We can figure things out and especially that message the enemy were trying to convey. We will focus on our village's repairs and increase of defense," Sarutobi concluded. Everyone nodded and left for their homes or what was left of them. "You have failed your duty," Kohara reminded Fugaku, who was one of the last persons to leave. "Do not fail next time," added Hamura. Fugaku seethed. They were insulting his clan. Now, my friends, let us not blame the Uchiha police. All of us were at fault. We became too arrogant and proud, believing nobody would dare attack us. We were caught off guard," the Hokage said in a patronizing manner, angering the Uchiha further. "Dismissed." Back in Uzushio. Word about Naruto's return traveled fast. After the meeting, the story of his life in Konoha spread like wildfire. Naturally, everyone felt sorry for him and wanted to deliver bodily harm to every single person that was affiliated with Konoha. Of course, they were also happy upon finding him alive and now back to the village. The village put it upon themselves to throw a grand celebration for the youngest Uzumaki heir's return. The people of Uzushio were eager to show Naruto that they were different from Konoha. He will be welcomed as a hero for being the QB no Yoko's jailer, treated with respect and as a normal person. Not because he was the son of the Hokage, but because he was also a human being like them. The Uzumaki Namikaze family spent their morning walking around the village. Everyone they passed by waved or bowed to them, to which they gladly returned. Some of the people were pointing and whispering at Naruto excitedly. The boy felt nervous at first, thinking that they were hostile towards him. Eventually he realized they were not and were smiling at him, greeted him like they did to his family. Some girls they passed by pointed at him and began squealing on how cute he was. Naruto's eyes widened in confusion, something the young females found even more adorable. His siblings of course noticed this and took note of it for later teasing. Heh. Just like his old man. Minato thought with a smug grin. He'll be a chick magnet when he gets older. If he's already making girls swoon at this age, I wonder when he grows up and starts to develop his body from training. I'm so proud. HMPH. I need to watch out for my Naruto-kun even more. In no time girls will soon flock at my baby. And then soon they'll have kids. And then they're going to take my baby from me. No, no. Kushina shook her head. Naruto then asked if they could go to the bookstore. His family, initially surprised with the request, complied. He bounced excitedly as they entered the shop. Before he got kicked out from the orphanage, Nono used to read him books before he slept. Unlike most kids, he liked hearing real stories of the past and were not interested in children's bedtime stories. At a young age he has taken a liking to history. When he got kicked out, he no longer had access to the books he liked to read. The librarian refused to allow him entry whenever he paid a visit to the Konoha library. Now that he's in Uzushio, he can read whatever he liked. Good morning. How may I help you? The store manager greeted, keeping her eye on the giddy boy who entered her shop. Naruto returned a shy greeting before running off to pick the books he wanted to read. Izukage-sama. How may I help you? The now astonished woman asked as she and her family followed after the boy. She knew that the Uzukage didn't like reading that much, so it was a surprise to her. Hello. My son requested that we visit your bookstore. Can you help him pick out some reading material? Preferably history as he's into the topic. Son? The clerk thought for a moment before a memory clicked. Naruto-sama. Of course, ma'am. Please have a seat while waiting. Also feel free to check out our books, our new stock might interest you. The lady said before walking off to assist Naruto. Naruto was currently dragging a basket filled with books entitled The History of the World, From Man to Shinobi. The Birth of Ninshu, Hagoromo Otsutsuki Rakuto Senin, The Five Great Nations, The Great Shinobi War, The Second Shinobi War, and The Third Shinobi War. He was currently staring at a shelf with some weird writings. He was fascinated by the intricate markings in it. Ah, Fuinjutsu. The clerk said as she stood beside him. Please let me carry the basket for you, Naruto-sama. Naruto could only stare at the woman, unused to people being kind to him. Neither to being called with respect. He was more familiar with the term demon brat than Naruto-sama. Reluctantly he gave the basket to the woman for him to carry. I apologize. I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Nami. The woman smiled. That, Naruto-sama, is the shelf for Fuinjutsu books. We Uzumakis are feared of our Fuinjutsu. We excelled at it. I'm sure you will become a seal master in no time once you started learning it. Would you like to have them? Yes please. I'll have the introduction to Fuinjutsu, basics of Fuinjutsu. Beginners please. Thank you. Such a polite boy. She smiled as she reached for the mentioned books. Naruto was too small to reach the higher shelves. Is there else anything you'd like, Naruto-sama? These will do. Thank you. Naruto replied as they walked to the counter to pay for the books. Izukage-sama. Your son is an interesting one, he is into informative books at his young age. He's also interested in Fuinjutsu. Your total cost for the other books would be 8,400 yen. As a welcome present, the Fuinjutsu books are free of charge. Nami grinned. Naruto widened his eyes. Back in Konoha, everything cost more than 10,000 yen. They always sold him overpriced products. He remembered that one time he bought a bottle of water and was charged 13,000 yen. Hey, are you sure, miss? I can have the other books for free. Wouldn't you lose your business? The boy asked timidly. Nami smiled kindly at him, telling him that it won't lose her business. Consider those books as gifts, Naruto-sama. Welcome back to Uzushio. To everyone's surprise, Naruto tackled her into a hug. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're so kind. The boy blabbed rapidly, trying not to cry. You're always welcome here in my shop. You can have any book you like with discounts. The boy was still expressing his gratitude after his mother paid for his purchases. Stopping only when he heard a growling sound caused by his stomach. As promised by his siblings, they introduced Naruto to Ichiraku's ramen. Kushina was excited for her son to try it. After all, it was her favorite food and to her there was no other greater than it. 6 months after the supposed destruction of Uzushio and extinction of the Uzumaki clan, the Ichirakas tried to live their life normally without their frequent customers. The death of Kushina and her children hit them hard. They mourned for the loss of a great clan. After their death, the Ichirakas eventually saw Konoha's dark nature and were sickened by it. One evening as they were closing shop, a man asked them if they wanted to leave Konoha, offering a better place. They were promised a better life and a bigger restaurant to start with if they left and moved to the man's country, as per his leader's request. Naturally, Tucci and AM wondered who the man's leader was and his country of origin. However, the man would not tell as it was a secret and will only be revealed when they agree to his terms. Having enough of Konoha, Tucci agreed. The father and daughter were overjoyed upon learning of Uzushio's status. As promised, they were given land enough for them to build a decent house and a huge restaurant. To show their gratitude, the members of the Uzumaki Namikaze family were given discounts every time they visited. "Hey, old man." Kushina greeted as she entered the restaurant followed by her family. "Izukage-sama." Tucci bowed in turn as the newcomers occupied a table. "Oh, come on. Don't call me that. I'm your #1 customer. Let's get rid of the pleasantries, you know. You're like family to me." "Haha. Sure thing, Kushina-san. What would you like to eat?" Tucci asked as he approached their table and gave them the menu. "For starters, we'll have 5 bowls of Kushina special for each of us. And an even bigger bowl for my baby boy here." Kushina grinned, patting her youngest son. Tucci wondered as his eyes landed at the boy. Blue eyes, yellow hair, mini version of Minato Naruto. "It's you. You're back. Welcome back. I'm Tucci Ichiraku." Tucci beamed as he excitedly shook Naruto's hand. A girl came out from the kitchen having heard her father shouting. "AM-chan, come here and meet our #1 customer's youngest son, Naruto." Her father called. "Hello, Naruto-kun, it's good to finally meet you. I've been thinking about you a lot lately." "I'm AM." AM said hugging the boy as she was too excited and thought Naruto was cute. Said boy blushed at the girl's action. He wasn't used to being talked to nicely by people and didn't know what to say. More so, he was used to receiving bodily harm. Warm hugs were a new thing for him. "What would you like to eat?" AM stammered, face flushed. She just hugged him. Gucci and the Naruto's family noticed this of course and laughed at the two's expense. They already placed their orders. "Here, they'll have 2 bowls of Kushina special each and an even bigger bowl for Naruto-kun here." "Hi. I'll be back at the kitchen." AM hurriedly walked away, still blushing madly. "Gucci-san, prepare some food for you and AM-chan as well. You're joining us to lunch." Kushina said. "Hi. I'll prepare the food. Please enjoy the television while waiting." "Thank you." Tucci said as he retreated to the kitchen. "Naruto-kun's got a crush on AM-chan." Miho and Mio chanted. "Say, Ataudo, do you think she's pretty?" Minako teased. "Well, yeah." Naruto mumbled. "What? You think she's pretty?" Narumi repeated the question while stifling her giggle. "What? No." Her brother quickly denied. "So she's ugly?" "No. She's very pretty. And I think she's cute when her face got red." "I mean, wait, what? Got you?" Narumi and the others were now laughing as Naruto's face reddened in embarrassment. The young girl was listening to the conversation outside. "Oh. He thinks I'm very pretty. And he also called me cute. Oh my." AM thought before fainting. Her father noticed and caught her before she hit the ground. Oh my. My daughter has a crush on the Izukage's youngest son. I was starting to think my AM-chan was a tomboy." Tucci thought, chuckling as he propped her daughter on the couch and went back to preparing their lunch. A few minutes later AM regained consciousness. "Ugh. What happened?" "You sort of fainted." His father snickered. "Come on now, let's serve them their orders. Try not to faint again, okay?" AM scoffed. "Aw. My daughter's finally growing up." AM-chan's found her soulmate. Tucci wiped a fake ear. "Dusan?" AM yelled indignantly. "Your orders are here." Tucci proclaimed as he and his daughter placed the food on their customer's table. "And here's a very special bowl for our newest customer." The Namikaze family and the 2 Ichirakas ate their lunch and shared stories. Naruto had stars on his eyes as he ate his ramen. He took his time savoring the flavor and felt each string of the noodle. He instantly fell in love with Ichiraku's ramen. Several bowls later, Naruto felt sleepy from eating too much. "That was awesome. Thank you for the food," Naruto said as he tried to stifle a yawn. He's also cute when he's yawning. He looks so innocent. AM thought. Naruto caught her staring and stared back, then showed her his best smile that will make all ladies swoon. AM was startled when Naruto stared back at her and suddenly grinned. Her face turned redder than a tomato and then fainted. Everyone noticed the interaction between the two and tried their best not to laugh as AM's head dipped on the bowl of ramen. Scene break. Naruto woke up and found himself back in his room. Naruto, you're awake. Come on, let's have some snacks. After that we're going out to buy you new clothes. Tomorrow we will be introducing you to the whole village. Narumi dragged him off the bed. Yo. Ataudo, have you prepared your speech yet? Minako asked seeing Naruto come down. Speech? Yeah. You'll be introduced to the village tomorrow. You need to make your speech. The twins confirmed. Okay. Narumi Ni-chan, can you help me with the speech? Naruto asked his elder sister still not picking up with the joke. Narumi went into a thinking pose before replying. How about no? Naruto pouted. His eyes seemed to magnify and went teary. Oh, Naruto-kun, we were just joking. Narumi said as she hugged her little brother. The people of Uzushio started their day early and went decorating for today's event and tomorrow. They have been told there will be a double celebration as today was October the 10th, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze's birthday, and yesterday was the day he returned to Uzushio. They didn't throw a celebration yet, since the Uzukage's family wished to enjoy their day with their lost and now found family member first. Everywhere in the village had been decorated for celebration. Flags with a number 5 on it with a cake background can be seen throughout the village, signifying Naruto's 5th birthday. While the whole village were preparing, the birthday boy was still asleep in his room. AM-chan. This is so good. Naruto mumbled in his sleep. His parents and his siblings walked into his room carrying a cake, a bowl of ramen, party poppers and banners and was about to wake him when they heard him mumbling. Naturally, they were horrified when they heard the 5-year-old boy mumbling something good about a girl. Ah. That was good. I'd like a second round AM-chan. Naruto said as he continued to talk in his sleep. What the? Kami, no. What happened to my innocent baby boy? Jiraiya. I'm going to kill you. Kushina thought. Minato were having mixed emotions. He wasn't sure if he should laugh or be angry. Naruto's siblings however were trying hard not to laugh while their mother looked horrified. AM-chan. Ichiraku's ramen is the best. This is indeed the food of the gods. I will always eat here. Can I have a third bowl? Naruto asked in his sleep. His siblings and his father burst laughing while Kushina looked relieved. Soon she joined laughing while Naruto enjoyed having ramen in his dreams. Ramen? Naruto mumbled as the smell of ramen that was being held by his mother reached his nostrils. Naruto-kun. His mother called. Naruto-kun. More ramen. Wake up. Huh? It's your birthday. Your birthday? Happy birthday to you. Naruto sang, still asleep. No, it's your birthday. Kushina giggled. Happy birthday to me. Kushina laughed. Naruto-kun. Wake up. Finally, Naruto woke up. Ha-chan. Tu-san. Narumi Nichan. Minako Niasen. Maiho Nichan. Mio Niasen. Good morning. Good morning Naruto-kun they all replied. Happy birthday. My birthday? Naruto asked, smiling. His eyes widened as realization hit him. It was his birthday. It was his birthday. Bad memories came flooding back as he shook his head and started to panic. No. Please, don't hurt me. Please leave me alone. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not a demon. Go away. Naruto cried as he tried to hide himself in a corner cowering in fear. His family stopped dead in their tracks as they watched him. Oh my god. What have they done to my baby? Kushina whispered. As a mother, the pain she felt was doubled. Watching her son cowering in fear during his birthday when he was supposed to be happy broke her heart. Naruto-kun? His siblings asked with concern. Narumi and Maiho also started to cry for their little brother. Minato's mind was racing. His blood boiled. What have they done to my son? The village that I laid my life for did this. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them. Konoha. You're going to burn. Unconsciously, he was releasing a huge amount of killing intent that made his son cry even more. Please don't hurt me. Naruto pleaded as he felt a huge amount of killing intent. His mind brought him back to Konoha and started to see a huge mob trying to kill him. Dusan, please calm down. You're scaring Naruto-kun even more. Minako said as he tried to calm his father. His father was shaking with rage. Minako and Mio also seethed but managed to calm themselves. The mother was the first to recover. Although she still felt heartbroken seeing her son like that. Naruto-kun. Please don't cry. We're not going to hurt you. Kushina tried to comfort her son as she slowly approached him. Hokage-chan. Is that you? Naruto asked as he felt someone approach him. Yes, Naruto-kun. It's Kachan. Kushina said as she took her son into her arms, hugging him tight. "Ah-chan, they are going to kill me. They are going to kill me. Ka-chan, I swear, I haven't done anything wrong. Tell them I'm not a demon. Please tell them to stop hurting me." Naruto sobbed. "I will, Sachi, I will. They won't hurt you anymore. You're safe, I promise. I won't let them hurt you." The day was supposed to start off good. But Naruto's family didn't realize how deep his wounds and fears were. Kushina then recalled Naruto's medical files when Ki gave it to her. More than 25% of them were dated October the 10th. "Promise?" "Yes, Sachi-kun. That's a promise." "Okay," replied the boy as he finally smiled, believing his mother's words. "Now Naruto-kun. You should blow the candle and make a wish." Minato indicated the cake as he tried to lighten the mood. "Yeah, and your ramen's getting cold," Narumi added. Naruto's stomach replied by growling. "Oh yeah. I dreamt I was eating ramen." Narumi and Miho giggled. "Yeah, we heard you. We also had this ramen cooked by Am-chan for you. I'm sure you'd love it." "Of course, Dadabeo." Naruto cheered, getting back to his usual happy and cheery self. His family sang happy birthday and then the boy blew the candle. Naruto then began eating the huge bowl of ramen. In a few minutes the bowl was empty. "Ichiraku's ramen is really the best." "Of course, Databane. You can have more later. Let's go downstairs and get you prepared for today's event." "Oh yeah, Naruto-kun, have you prepared your speech yet? I'm sure the girls in the village would like to hear your speech, especially Am." Minako asked while his other siblings snickered. I thought Narumi-ni-chan said that was a joke." Naruto pouted as he blushed with the thought of Am wanting to listen to his speech. "It was. Ha 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 ha." His siblings laughed. "Enough of that, you four. Let's go downstairs." Kushina scolded as she carried Naruto and left the room, followed by Minato. The four soon followed after their parents while still snickering. Their little brother was too easy to tease. "Hello, Naruto-kun. Happy birthday." A man who looked like Kushina greeted the boy as they reached the living room. It was the same man Naruto saw with his father before they teleported to Uzushio. Beside the man was a boy who looked the same age as Narumi. His hair was long, touching his shoulder blades. Like most of the Uzumaki, he too had red hair. Hi. Thanks. I haven't introduced myself yet, have I? I'm your Uncle Kid. I'm your Kachan's elder brother. With me is your cousin, Nagato. The two with him are his best friends Konan and Yahiko." Naruto now noticed two other people beside Nagato. The girl had blue hair tied into a bun, while the other boy had orange hair. Somehow he almost looked like Naruto. "Hello, cousin Naruto-san, happy birthday." Nagato and Yahiko greeted. "Hello, Naruto-kun. I'm Konan. But you can call me Konan-chan. Happy birthday." Naruto was still feeling a little cautious. He wasn't used to people being nice to him and greeting him on his birthday. But he still managed to smile and thank the people who greeted him. He could start getting used to people being nice to him. After all, they weren't Konoha. He curiously inspected the four people and his eyes landed last and rested on Konan's beautiful face. "Oh my god, you're so cute." Konan squealed as she rushed and hugged the boy, pressing his head to her glorious orbs. Naruto's face immediately went red. Fortunately, Kushina went to Naruto's rescue and managed to release him from the girl's grasp as he was starting to have difficulty breathing. He was still blushing when Konan released him. "Is Aratatu blushing? Look, his face is red." Miho and Mio both said. "Ooh, could it be that our Naruto-kun has got a crush on Konan-chan?" Narumi asked. "Look at him, he's blushing." "Of course he does." Minako said as they laughed. "Oh, do you really have to tease me with every girl I meet?" their youngest brother asked. "Yes." His siblings replied in Unasian. Naruto cutely pouted as his eyes seemed to get bigger. Konan found his blue eyes very attractive and couldn't resist the boy's cuteness. "So adorable. Beautiful. It's like the face of an angel. Kami-sama, thank you for letting me meet him," Konan whispered before she fainted. All of them stared at the girl's unconscious form. "My, Naruto-kun. You really are a ladies' man. I'm so proud," Minato thought. "Wow. Like father, like son," Kid thought. Meanwhile, Kushina were having trouble. She was thinking of ways to keep the girls away from her baby. "He's only 5, Databane. I'm not letting them take my Naruto-kun from me." "Ihiko. It seems you have competition," Nagato remarked as he found the scene amusing. "Oh, no. Not you too," Naruto shouted, almost crying, at Nagato. The whole family laughed at the scene while Naruto's face grew redder. "Alright. Let's have breakfast. Everyone, gather around the dining table." Kushina decided to interrupt before things escalated. 2 hours later. Naruto was now wearing a light blue kimono as his hair was being fixed by Kushina. "Ugh. Does this ever go down?" Kushina asked in frustration as she tried to get her son's hair go down. I guess it's just like mine. Let it be. Minato said. But he needs to look formal. Get down. Kushina shouted at her son's stubborn hair. He looks fine to me. Ugh. Okay, I give up. Come on, Naruto-kun. Your uncle is waiting for you downstairs. He said he's going to give you something. Do you think he's going to be alright? Kushina whispered to her husband as they went downstairs with Naruto going first. He will be fine. Minato replied, although he also looked unconvinced. They worried about what happened earlier. I'll be fine, Ka-chan, Tu-chan. Do not worry about me. Naruto told his parents, having heard them talking about him. He gave them one of his foxy grins, making his parents smile back. Although he didn't really understand what his parents were worried about him for. Uzukage's mansion, balcony. The whole of Uzushio gathered at the bottom of the mansion, civilian and shinobi alike. Some were carrying banners that said welcome home, happy birthday, or we love you Naruto-sama. They were anxiously waiting for the Uzukage and her family, and especially, the Lost Maelstrom. There were talks about different things. Some of the shinobi were wondering if they're finally revealing themselves to the world. Some of the civilians were just talking happily that Naruto came back safe. The young girls were gossiping excitedly. Those who have seen Naruto were telling their friends how cute and charming he was. The boys on the other hand were talking about his awesomeness. Finally the Uzumaki Namikaze family appeared, all wearing kimonos. With them were the head of the storm, Kid, and his son, Nagato. 4 members of the family's household were at the back, waiting for orders or to give assistance. There were also 9 top members of Storm stationed at the balcony, surrounding the family. The Uzukage stepped forward and immediately everyone became silent as they waited for her to talk. People of Uzushio, I thank you all for coming here and celebrating with us. My heart is filled with gratitude seeing you all concerned with our family. 4 years ago, an allied force of Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri tried to eliminate us. We found out that Konoha was also to blame for the attack. Despite our victory, we still suffered heavy losses. An unknown assailant infiltrated the mansion and took my infant son away. We were all made to believe that he was killed by incineration. For 4 years we mourned for the loss of my son. You shared my pain and my sorrow. For that I will be forever thankful to each and every one of you. The crowd cheered and felt happy hearing their Uzukage thank them. They went silent again as their leader continued her speech. A few nights ago, I, my husband, and my 4 children had a shared dream. We saw a boy being beaten and tortured by a mob. We saw how those people hated the boy when he had done nothing wrong to deserve what they were giving him. We recognized the boy and we believed it was actually happening and decided to find him. I ordered my children and my brother to come to Konoha and look for him. My brother came back and confirmed his findings about the boy. What we saw in the dream my brother also saw in that village. He came back with documents about the boy confirming he was indeed my lost son, Naruto. Every single person here I'm sure were informed about the reports in the documents. After the meeting with the council, we have decided to let the news spread to every person living here in Uzushio. I know many of you demanded blood when you found out what Konoha did to my son. And for that, as a mother, I once again thank you. The Uzukage bowed as the crowd murmured and returned the bow. She then continued. When my son was found, we immediately made plans to have him returned here safely. A decision was made and every shinobi volunteered for the raid that has been agreed upon. 5 raiding teams were formed and went to Konoha to fulfill the mission. The mission, Operation Lost Maelstrom. Retrieve Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and return the kindness that Konoha has given to us. Both missions were successful. My son was able to safely return and the raiding squads gave Konoha a piece of our gratitude. Konoha didn't know and still have no leads on who attacked them. They blamed the other shinobi countries who attacked our homeland 4 years ago. They believed they were the ones responsible. The crowd laughed and jeered at Konoha's stupidity. The Uzukage raised her hand and the crowd went silent once again. I know you have been waiting to meet him ever since the news spread. I will not make you wait any longer. People of Uzushio, meet the Lost Maelstrom, my son, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. The crowd cheered as the youngest heir stepped forward and presented himself to everyone. He smiled and waved at them. They happily returned the gesture and the blonde felt overwhelmed but happy. Naruto-sama. Welcome back. We have been waiting for your return. We hope you're doing well, Naruto-sama. Uzushio loves you. Naruto felt so welcomed. He stared at the crowd as he gave them his foxy grins. He looked a bit uncomfortable and shuffled his feet, but then he held out his hand and the crowd went silent for a moment. Hello. People of Uzushio. I thank you for the warm welcome. I promise that I will do my best so you will all like me. I will do what I can to become a good role model as the son of the Uzukage. Thank you. His family was of course surprised that he even managed to make a short speech. They were nonetheless proud of him. The crowd burst again into cheers and applause. Naruto-sama, you are so cool. Please sign me your autograph. Naruto-sama. Naruto-sama. Demon. Go away. Die. QB brat. Demons have no place here. Go back to hell. Die. Bad memories started to haunt him as he stared at the huge crowd. He remembered back in Konoha, a huge crowd always gathered against him and did unspeakable things to him. He unconsciously made a step back while clutching his head. The crowd were confused as they watched a boy's face turn into a scared look from a happy look. Their Naruto-sama was now cowering in fear. They didn't understand why. No. Please, don't hurt me. I'm not a demon. Why can't you see that? Go away. The young heir screamed as he curled into a ball, shaking and crying. Oh my baby. Kushina said as a tear fell down to her cheek. She immediately recovered and nodded to her other children. Narumi and Minako carefully approached their little brother and guided him back inside the mansion. No. Please. Don't hurt me. I haven't done anything wrong. The boy sobbed as he felt a warm presence. Narumi hugged her little brother and carried him away back to the mansion, closely followed by Minako and the twins. The Hokage also ordered her household to assist her children. The crowd watched them sadly as Naruto was taken back inside the mansion. They now realized what happened to the boy. The crowd began murmuring to themselves and watched as their Uzukage stepped forward and faced them once again. Uzukage-sama. Uzukage-sama. Is this the work of Konoha? How could they do this to someone so innocent? Konoha must pay for their crimes. Konoha must burn. Let all those who have done him wrong experience the same pain they gave to Naruto-sama. Yeah. Blood for blood. An eye for an eye. Fuck you, Konoha. Blood. Blood. The Uzukage's mind was racing. The people demanded blood. She too wanted revenge for her son and for Uzushio. But no, they were still hidden and needed to become stronger. She wanted her son to get strong first before they exact their vengeance on Konoha. Her father, the previous Uzukage, still had plans that needed to be done. She must do those first before they decide to reemerge back to the world. She made a resolve and ordered the crowd to become silent. My brethren, I understand your desire for blood. As a mother, I wanted nothing but pain for those responsible for my son's misfortunes. But no, as your leader, I must keep a straight and clear mind. We will go to war, yes. But not yet. All eyes were on her now. Uzushio still remains hidden. To the world, the Uzumaki clan were extinct. But Uzushio and the Uzumaki clan are very much alive. We are biding our time and are getting ourselves become stronger. We are gathering allies while being discreet. We are also making research for war machines that will help us in the future once we finally decide to reemerge back to the world. We will remind them why we were feared. They were right to fear us. But deciding to exterminate us was never a great idea. We only have a few years left lying low before we decide to reappear. When that time comes, the world will know true fear. We will make them pay. Everyone, shinobi and civilian alike, roared their approval and cheered. For the last time, their leader raised her hand and they went silent. Today is my son's 5th birthday. Let us celebrate his return and forget about his oppressors for now. Also, I must ask of you not to mention about his status when he is around. He doesn't know yet about the QB no Yoko being sealed inside him yet. Let us celebrate. Let the world celebrate. For this will be one of their last celebrations. The Lost Maelstrom has returned to his homeland, and when the time comes, Uzushio will rule the world. And with that, Kushina and Minato retreated back to the mansion to check on their son, while Kid and the Storm went back to their duties. The crowd cheered and roared their approval of their leader's words. Uzukage Mansion. How's my baby? Kushina asked as she entered her son's room and found him sleeping with Miho and Mio beside him. He is doing fine now. It took him 10 minutes before he finally calmed down and believed he was safe from harm. The crowd really did scare him and brought back bad memories. Minako said as he stood up and let his mother approach Naruto. Tausen. What are we going to do? Narumi asked. Just give him time. Time heals wounds. Well, not really. The scars will remain, but yeah, you catch my drift. Minato replied. Yes. We will just show him that we love him. The villagers will also see to that. He will overcome his fears if given the time. That fear will drive him to become stronger in the future. That fear will be converted into his ultimate weapon, where no one will be able to do him harm again. Konoha will see to that. Kushina said. The mother raised her hand and one of the servants approached. Yes, Uzukage-sama. And the 4 of you go to Ichiraku's and order 30 bowls of Kushina special ramen and bring it back here. Hi, Uzukage-sama. Thank you. Just tell Tucci-san to put the bill in our tab. Ramen helps me with depression, Databane. Naruto-kun's favorite is also ramen. I'm sure it will cheer him up when he wakes up. Kushina said, answering her eldest daughter and son's questioning looks. Kushina, Minato, and his siblings stayed with Naruto until he woke up about an hour later. "Naruto-kun, how are you feeling?" his father asked. Fine. "Sachi, you don't sound fine. Please tell mommy what's on your mind," Kushina said as she held his son's hands. Naruto remained silent for a minute as he stared at the window. There was something that still bothered him. He was pondering if he should ask his parents. "Ha-chan. Tu-chan. Yes, Naruto-kun. Do you really love me?" Kushina and Minato looked at each other. Naruto's siblings looked surprised at the question. "Of course, Sachi. Why would you think otherwise? Well, you didn't try to look for me when I was kidnapped. I was dumped into Konoha and my life was made very miserable." Kushina looked like she had been sucker punched. She felt speechless. She reached for her son and tried to hug him. "Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry. I was so scared back then. I became depressed for a year. After that I tried to live my life normally. Father prohibited me from going out to look for you. We had to lay low for a while. We tried tracking your signature but we couldn't. We believed you really died. Forgive us, Naruto-kun. Please forgive your Ka-chan." Kushina sobbed. "Ha-chan. I'm still scared." Naruto-kun. Minato also felt speechless. What if they come back? What if they find out about me? What if they take me again? What will you do? "Naruto-kun, we are very sorry for letting you go that easily. Ever since that night we dreamt about you, I have been living in regret every day. I ask myself every day what if I actually tried to look for you and then you wouldn't have experienced your misfortunes in life. You wouldn't have lived your first years in life in fear of being mistreated. I'm so sorry." Kushina explained while her tears still flowed down. "Naruto-kun. Forgive me as well, it was my fault. I was the one who sealed." Minato stopped himself. He almost spilled and told him about QB. "Please forgive us, Naruto-kun. We promise to become better parents for you and your siblings. Naruto-kun, we promise you Konoha will never come back. They will not take you away again. If they do find out about you, we will do everything we can to stop them from getting their filthy hands on you. If it comes for the need to kill them, we will not hesitate. We love you, Naruto-kun. We will protect you. That's a promise." "Yes, Naruto-kun, we promise," Kushina said as she hugged her son tighter. They remained silent for about 5 minutes just hugging each other before Naruto finally smiled. "Ha-chan, Tu-chan. Yes, Naruto-kun. I want to become a ninja. I want to become strong. If Konoha comes for me, I will be able to defend myself. I also want to become strong to able to protect Uzushio from her enemies. Can you enroll me to the academy?" His family smiled at his proclamation. "Of course, Naruto-kun. We want you to become strong. We'll let you join the academy if that's what you wish," Kushina said as she released her son and put her hands on his cheeks. Naruto cheered. May I have the ramen?" His parents chuckled as Minato nodded and gave him a bowl. Naruto's problem was finally solved in the morning. He continued celebrating his birthday and went outside to greet and thank the villagers. He spent his afternoon roaming the village. He received many gifts from the villagers. He got new clothes, new books, and ninja toys. Some of the shinobi gave him a set of real kunai and shuriken. He received books from the bookstore owner Nana. Naruto received 25 eat all-you-can ramen for free coupons, 590% off ramen coupons from Tucci, and a kiss from AM, which left him dazed for about an hour. Nagato and his two best friends, Yahiko and Konan, gave him a black robe with red clouds designed on it, a pair of katanas, and another kiss from Konan that made the boy become dazed for another hour. His uncle Keed gave him a tanto. His siblings gave him a set of standard Uzushio shinobi clothing and weapons, while his parents gave him books about fuinjutsu and ninjutsu. His family received a dinner invitation from the owner of the most expensive restaurant in Uzushio. His fifth was his greatest birthday ever. The next day, Uzushio Council meeting. Izukage-sama. We're almost finished conducting research and experimenting for our machineries. In 2 years' time, we will be producing our first battle tanks, airships, warships, and submarines. Also in 6 months our first batch of light and heavy artillery will be ready for testing. A man wearing white robes reported. He was one of Uzushio's best scientists. They were working on advanced machineries that will be of great use in the future. If our first batch of machines proves to be a success, we will need to ally with the Land of Metal to be able to produce more of these war machines. If we're to look for allies, the Land of Metal can be very helpful to us in trade and additional military power. The council was glad to hear of the research team's progress. They also approved the idea of Uzushio allying with the Land of Metal. That's a great proposition. I'll begin working to get in touch with the Land of Metal's daimyo and kage discreetly. Is there anything else? Yes, Uzukage-sama. We were also thinking of a megacur. Oh yeah, hold it. The Uzukage said as she snapped her finger, calling a storm. Please find Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan and tell them to proceed here immediately. Hi. The storm said as he vanished in a swirl of water. 10 minutes later. Izukage-sama. What is it? Nagato asked as he entered the meeting room with Yahiko and Konan. We were talking about which countries to get to ally with us, and a megakure was mentioned. The Uzukage replied as she nodded to the council and resumed their meeting. As you can see, Rain Country served as a battleground during the war. The country was naturally destroyed and became a poor country. They are now being led in tyranny by a clan known to produce poison from their bodies. The leader was known as Hanzo of the Salamander, head of the Hattori clan. He was also the person who fought the 3 legendary Sannin and was the one who gave them their titles. Aim no Kuni serves as a buffer zone for Konoha and the other elemental nations. If we can negotiate an ally with them, we will have a vantage point when the time comes, and we will have a shorter route when we invade the other elemental countries. I can see your point. But there will be no negotiations. My sources tell me that Hanzo is a good friend of Danzo who is from Konoha. We are going to have to eliminate them before we occupy and rule AIM. Said by another council member. But how are we going to do that? Yuzukage-sama said we cannot attack other countries yet and remain hidden. Asked by another one. I've seen to that matter already. Kushina said. What are you planning, Yuzukage-sama? The Akatsuki. She smiled as Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan's eyes widened in surprise. What? Akatsuki what? What do you mean? The council asked. Kushina nodded to her nephew and his 2 companions as they stepped forward. Akatsuki is what we call our group. Yahiko said. Like everyone else, it is our desire to achieve peace. Konan continued. In order to achieve true peace, the world must know and feel pain. Nagato finished. You see, the reason why I called them here is because of a megakure. They will be our means of having Aim no Kuni added to our land expansion and military might. Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan. I will be sending you 3 on a long-term mission. You will infiltrate AIM and pose as members of that place. You will have no trouble convincing people since Konan and Yahiko were originally from there. I believe there's a resistance in there. Find the rebels and use Akatsuki to invite them to your cause. Gather as much members and followers you can. When you are ready, overthrow the leaders and claim the country. Eliminate all loyal followers of them. We will send you 4 Uzushio shinobi as reinforcements every 2 weeks once you find the rebels and convince them to join your cause. I have strong faith in you 3. Prepare to leave in a week. Thank you for trusting us, Yuzukage-sama. We will not fail you and we will make sure to fulfill our mission. I know you will. The Uzukage replied as the 3 left the room. Alright. A megakure will be taken care of. Anything else? Hi, 2 years ago, there had been an uprising in Yuki no Kuni. Yuki's former daimyo, Susetsu Kazuhana was murdered by his own brother, Dodo Kazuhana. Dodo hired a group of mercenary shinobi and took over the place. Susetsu's daughter, Koyuki, managed to escape along with the hexagonal crystal, which they believed was the key to Yuki no Kuni's hidden treasure. Our sources managed to unveil what treasure it was. The treasure was actually a heat generator for the whole country which will melt the snow and turn the weather into spring. Like Aim no Kuni, Yuki no Kuni is under control of a tyrant. Dodo and his little group of mercenaries wear what they call chakra armor. These suits enhance their jutsus tenfold and also make them immune to jutsus. Whenever hit by a jutsu, the armor will absorb it and convert it to chakra for the wearer to use. The wearers will also never experience chakra exhaustion since the armors drastically reduce the chakra required for a jutsu. A few weeks ago, we have managed to acquire one of the armor's newest models and have it looked in our laboratories to further study about it and find its weaknesses. For now we are still looking for the princess, Koyuki. But we still have no leads. One of them reported. Very good. I want a team sent to Snow Country and have them find Susetsu Kazuhana's loyal followers. The team will stay there with them until we find Princess Koyuki and help her retake the country. Izukage-sama. What of Sunagakure? I have sent them a letter 2 days ago. By yesterday the Kazekage should have received it. Hopefully we'll have his answer within the next week. I've sent them the letter and the other necessary documents to further convince them to ally with us. Uzushiogakure's council recently discovered more news regarding Konoha's treacherous plans. They found out about their plans against Sunagakure. They were planning to do almost the same thing they have done with their former ally, Uzushio, whom they betrayed and left. The plan was to ally with Suna first and gain their trust. Once the alliance is made, they will find and spill the village's military secrets and weaknesses to the other elemental countries, allowing Suna to be attacked easily. Once weakened, they will take the village's Jinchuriki, Sabaku no Gara, and add him to Konoha's own military arsenal. They plan to do the same things they did on Naruto. Beating, torturing, and slowly brainwashing the young Jinchuriki to make them loyal to their village. Ugh. I can't believe Konoha's stooping so low and playing dirty. one council member remarked. "Oh, how the mighty have fallen." Another one said. "They will reap what they sow." The Uzukage said. "What about Tokigakure? I'm afraid Tokigakure's being taken out from the list of possible allies. We have found out what they were doing to their Jinchuriki. They followed Konoha's example. Tokigakure also hate their Jinchuriki. We can't ally to those who treat their own like trash. They will fall like Konoha," Kushina said coldly. "There is also this history with one of their rogue shinobis. A man named Kakuzu was sent to assassinate Konoha's Shodaime Hokage, but failed greatly. Unable to defeat the Mokuton, he returned to Taki and reported his failed mission. What happened next was completely outrageous. They punished the man. He was sent to jail and was tortured every day for 3 months before he was released and was tasked again to assassinate the same person whom he had been tasked to kill, Hashirama Senju. Naturally, the man was angry at his village for the treatment he received. He murdered the village elders and took their hearts. He also took the village's most prized forbidden techniques before he fled. Izukage-sama, if we are not allying with Tokigakure for how they treated their own shinobi, then why are we allying with Suna? Ah yes. The Yondaime Kizukage, the Jinchuriki's father, is indeed a cunt. He tried to have his own son assassinated countless times. Their council was no different. But we have a plan for that. Once the alliance between Uzushi Agakure and Tsunagakure is made, we will have the ones responsible for making Gaara's life miserable murdered brutally. They will be replaced by people with good hearts. Since the council and the Kizukage are the only people who hate Gaara, we will not have much problem. The villagers were actually good people, but only grew afraid of the Jinchuriki because of his unstable seal. Once we fix the boy's seal, we will show Suna they can trust him and do not have to be afraid of him. I also plan on having him stay here in Uzushio to be friends with my son, Naruto. They can relate to each other having the same rough childhood and status as Jinchuriki. I see. That's a sound plan, Uzukage-sama. What are we going to do with Taki's Jinchuriki? I'm sending a team to find her and convince her to run away from Taki. It should be easy. Once Taki lists her as a missing nin, we will take her under our protection. If there's nothing else, then we should adjourn this meeting. Uzukage-sama, we wish Naruto-sama a belated happy birthday. Here are our gifts. The council said as they presented their gifts for the young heir to the Uzukage. 2 store members took the gifts and brought them to the mansion. Thank you. We will talk again once we receive Suna's response. Dismissed. Hi. The council members said as they stood up and left the room. Hagakure. 2 days have passed since the incident, and instead of being able to rise up and recover from the raid, Konoha faced more problems. The village elders Danzo Shimura, Kaharu Udatane, and Hamura Midokado were found unconscious one day after the attack on the village. They were immediately rushed to the hospital in fear of them dying. The village doctors and healers found nothing wrong with them. Their chakra coils were normal, their organs showed no signs of malfunctioning. Their bodies were completely healthy. Yet they were still baffled on their patient's current condition. Teams were sent to investigate the elders' houses, and they were able to find residuals of very, very strong and potent dose of sleeping pills all over their drinks and food. The investigating teams gathered the residues to be studied in the hospital, but later found out that the medicine slowly vanishes into nothingness, leaving no trace when exposed to air. They were able to realize this when there was nothing left to study. This left them very frustrated and was forced to just wait for the elders to wake up since they found their bodies and brains perfectly healthy. They concluded they were simply put into a coma. The whole village, on the other hand, was put into a very shitty situation. The place stank of human waste. Every single person in the village had been diagnosed with a very strong and unique kind of diarrhea. The comfort rooms were always full of the infected and had very long lines. Those who were unfortunate enough, which was many, had no choice but to release their bowels on the road, the park, or wherever place they were. The doctors, through their own experiences, were able to determine the disease. The person infected will experience the same symptoms of diarrhea. What made it different from the normal diarrhea was that the body of the person infected will automatically replenish their lost waters and will keep them from becoming dehydrated. But because of the body being forced to replenish lost waters, the infected person becomes very weak. Though infected by the disease, teams were formed to investigate the cause of the pandemic and found out that the village's water tanks were mixed with many amounts of laxatives. They had no choice but to gather water outside the village and left traces of human waste along the roads. Because of the raid, a few mission and contract givers became hesitant to hire Konoha. This caused the village to have a lower source of income. The mission givers and contractors drastically decreased when they found out about the whole village infected with a strong and unique kind of diarrhea. Merchants and traders also avoided the village in fears of getting infected. News about the plague traveled fast. Only the daimyo's family, the people who lived near and inside the fire capital, and those who really needed something from Konoha, kept their business with them running. Konoha's reputation went to totally fucked up from most trusted and respected. Tsunagakure no Sato. The Yondaime Kazekage was surprised with the sudden increase of mission and contract requests. When he heard about Konoha, he was somewhat thankful for the slight increase of business. When the news about Konoha's plague spread, 90% of that village business decided to look for another village to deal business with. The populace of Suna felt very sorry for Konoha in the inside, but was very happy on the outside. Finally, more missions for them. They will be more recognized. They will have more means of income. The Kazekage just finished assigning missions and was now signing papers. Kazekage-sama. Asuna Jonin carrying a scroll suddenly entered the office. Yes. Here's another scroll from the unknown sender. Oh. Just leave it here. Thank you. Hi. The Kazekage finished his stack of paper and decided to open the scroll, and 2 folders poofed out from it. He decided to read the scroll first. Greetings, Kazekage Dono. Once again we would like to offer you an alliance between our respective villages. We are sure that we will both benefit with it, and we assure you that your village will benefit greatly with it. As stated in our previous letter, you will have an increase in mission requests and other businesses, such as trade and other contracts. There you have it. Konoha's benefactors have decided to invest to your village instead. We must ask for your pardon if we cannot tell you who we are. Until you have agreed with the deal, we cannot reveal ourselves and our village. Although we can assure you that our intentions allying with you are true and we have no hidden agenda behind it. We simply wish an alliance so both our villages can have more trading resources and military strength. You can attest our strengths by looking on what happened with Konoha. See how much damage we have done within only 30 minutes. Also attached in this scroll are documents regarding your treaty with Konoha and their plans for it. We have managed to recover these files during our little raid. See for yourself. We hope that we could reach into a compromise and please us with your decision. We thank you in advance and wish you good fortune in your surge of incoming missions. Tsunagakure's friend. The Kazekage smirked as he put down the scroll. Now he knew who was to thank for their sudden increase in economy. He also understood the hidden threat within the message should he decide to do something funny like decline their proposal or reveal about them to Konoha. The Kazekage understood and saw how powerful their mysterious friend was. If he approves of the alliance, his country will become stronger and will have the power to oppose the 4 other elemental nations and other strong countries. He has already decided to agree to the alliance while he was still reading the letter. There will be no need of threats. Of course he will agree. His village has benefited a lot thanks to these mysterious people. The Kazekage then picked one of the 2 folders attached with the scroll and opened it. His facial expression turned to anger from curiosity as he read the folder's contents. Inside the folder was the progress report regarding Konoha's proposed alliance to Suna. Stated there were Konoha's true plans behind the supposed alliance. They were planning on befriending his village to discover their secrets and military weaknesses and exploit those. They also planned about taking Suna's Jinchuriki and brainwashing him. They wanted to add the Shukaku to their military arsenal. Once they have gotten what they wanted, they will overthrow Tsunagakure no Sato, with or without the help of the other 3 nations. After reading the file, he knew there was no doubt he will accept Konoha's mysterious attacker's proposal for an alliance. He's definitely going to agree to it. Consequences of the alliance be damned. He'll think about those later. He will bring down Konoha with the help of his mysterious ally. The Kazekage then picked up the second folder. Inside it was the alliance approval between his village and their unknown friend. On top of it was a note. This is the paper that will prove our alliance. Know that this paper is infused with blood seals and truth seals. Everything written here is true. Everything proposed about the agreement one signed will be done. There will be no backstabbing, pulling back, or cancellation of the alliance. Failure to comply with the agreement will cause death of the one who signed it, his successor, his successor's successor, and so on. The contract will expire in 15 years. The choice is yours if wish to renew it. In which we are sure you will since your country will benefit greatly with it. The Sand Leader was impressed with the paper. He didn't know such a kind of seal existed. He continued reading the contract. Both countries will benefit with each other. There will be a trade system between both villages. Items that are usually found in the country's vicinity that cannot be found within their allied countries' areas will be shared equally or traded, and vice versa. There will be sharing of knowledge about enemies, threats, and future threats. There will be also a sharing of training and teaching methods in the academy to help both villages produce strong shinobi in the future. Lastly, there will be a sharing of each country's jutsus. These jutsus will be taught in the village's respective academies. More importantly, there will be a military alliance. Should one of the village calls for assistance in a time of war or natural calamities or other problems, the allied village will respond and prove any assistance they can. Hokage Dono, there is a personal favor I want to ask you, and I'll make it in addition to this agreement. You see, my son is also a Jinchuriki who happens to be with the same age as your son, Gaara. I would like your approval to send him and his siblings to our village and let them stay for at least 5 years. My son has few friends around his age, and I wish him to grow up and become used to people near his age. Also, I'd like both children spend time around with each other since they are both Jinchuriki. This is my personal request. I hope we can have an agreement on this. Please cut your wrist and let a small amount of blood touch on the paper. Use your own blood to sign if you approve of our agreement and alliance. Tsunagekur's ally. The Hokage was a bit surprised with the request. He didn't expect the mysterious village to have their own Jinchuriki. He was shocked by that revelation. He wondered which tale they had. I'll find out soon. I see nothing wrong about the personal favor. If this is what it takes to get back to Konoha, sending my children to their village is a small price to pay, and I'm sure they will help my children train to grow stronger. Yes, I'll definitely approve of this. Konoha, you better pray to whatever god starting from now, for now Tsunagekur have a stronger ally. As soon as leader thought as he cut his wrist with a kunai and let a few droplets hit the paper. He then took a pen and signed the contract with his blood. The moment he was finished signing, the paper glowed and a new folder appeared along with a ring with a small sapphire on top of it with a swirl design. There was also a note on top of the folder. Hokage Dono. We knew we could trust in Tsunagekur. Thank you for agreeing to make an alliance with us and hope you will not let us down in the future. We chose to ally with Suna since it was the only village who haven't done anything against Uzushio. This folder explains everything that has transpired 4 years ago up to the day Konoha was raided. We hope that all of your questions will be answered by this folder. If not, then simply concentrate your chakra on this ring. We strongly advise you to wear it all times starting from the moment our alliance has been approved by you. Don't worry, there's nothing fancy on that ring. You won't die or feel any negative effects by wearing it. We simply do not want other people finding this ring, do we? Of course not. This ring is a symbol of our alliance and also a communication device. It has been applied with seals, so all you have to do is flare your chakra on it and call on my name should you wish to speak or arrange a meeting with us. Once again, the whole of Uzushio appreciates your treaty with us. Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Shodaime Yuzukage no Adarashi Uzushio no Sato. How many times have I said this? The Hokage was shocked with the revelation. Uzushio still exists. Uzumaki. Kushina Uzumaki, they're alive. She's alive. They were the ones who attacked Konoha. But why? How are they Okami? Now my head hurts. Asuna leader thought as he massaged his head. He then shouted and called for his Anbu. 4 of them appeared in front of him kneeling. Anbu? I want the village locked down immediately. I want all possible entries to the village secured. Nobody is to get inside or go outside. Also have this room surrounded by 4 squads of the top Anbu. Secure this room and make sure nobody enters. Hi. The Hokage stood up and quickly went into a series of hand seals. He applied the room with the strongest privacy seals he knew. Nobody from the outside will see, hear, or feel anything. He went back to his seat and began reading the contents of the folder. It took him almost 2 hours since he had to read the contents of the folder 3 times, as if memorizing it. All questions that had been lingering on his head were answered thanks to the information he read from the folder. He put down the files and took deep calming breaths. After about 10 minutes, he flared his chakra on the ring that he was now wearing. Uzushio, Uzukage's office. The Uzukage was signing off papers as she felt a new chakra signature. She smiled and muttered, well, that was unexpectedly fast. The Uzumaki leader snapped her fingers and 2 masked figures who were kneeling appeared. Please find my husband and my brother and tell them to come over here immediately. Hi. Chapter end. Alright, that's it for today's video guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Peace out.